Hey there, Knicks fans. The NBA season does not let an injury rule out your bet. Other sportsbook let injuries box you out, but FANATICS Sportsbook's fair play protects all bets from first half injury. So if your player goes out with an injury, FANATICS keeps your bet on the court. Make the switch and get more ways to win with FANATICS Sportsbook. Winning, it's different here. Hey there, Knicks fans. How you doing? It's your boy Jonathan Macri with you for another episode of the Knicks Film School Podcast, here with our weekly recap, which tonight is a bit of a year in review. I was going to say yearly recap. That's not a phrase I've ever heard before, not by anyone with any brain. Hi, Jeremy Cohen. How are you? What's up?
Doing well, Mr. Germanata. How are you doing?
Did you enjoy that?
I did. It's a great story. I can't believe you and Lady Gaga could have been a thing.
I don't think we could have. Realistically, I just don't think that was ever in the cards for a variety of reasons.
I don't know. I think you're doubting yourself here. It could have worked.
There's an addendum to the story, which I did not share on the pod. I have just so many Lady Gaga stories. My mom ended up befriending mostly her dad, but her parents some years later, but before I met my wife. I want to make that very clear. And I was like, man, maybe this is my chance back in to make up for missed opportunities, but nothing ever. She was already like world famous by that point. So
the one that got away.
No,
that's you. You're the one that got away. She did her own thing.
Yep, there.
And here you are.
Is she married? I don't even know.
She was engaged before. I don't know if she's married now, but
I have to fact check
what it is.
It is what it is. How you doing, Jeremy? Happy holidays. How were your holidays? I've talked a lot about mine, so I don't need to say anything else about that. How were yours?
Holidays were great, thanks. Able to spend it with my parents. So we had a nice Christmas, good dinner, watched the Knicks, and watched some. What else we watched? Watched It's a Wonderful Life, which is a great movie.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's great. It's a fantastic film. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I love Jimmy Stewart in general. He's a fantastic actor,
Yes.
but I love he's got a great sound to him. Rear Window is one of my favorites, as you see two Hitchcocks behind me. But yeah, it's I could do a Jimmy Stewart accent as well, which is really fun. He's got a great voice. I miss the transatlantic 1940s accent that existed out there. Oh heck, see, like Jimmy Stewart.
That was really good.
Oh, thank you. You want the moon, Jonathan? I could last with the moon for you. Gee. Something like that. We don't have that anymore.
No, we don't. We definitely don't.
Shame.
You should bring it back, though.
Well, see, I'll do what I can.
We used to be a country back when men wore hats. My favorite Jimmy Stewart. I've only probably seen maybe a half dozen Jimmy Stewarts, which is pretty embarrassing. But my favorite is probably The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I haven't.
It's really good. It's probably my favorite old Western. I saw it for a class in high school once, way back when. It's good. Jimmy Stewart, What's Not to Love? It's a Wonderful Life is like the only like upper echelon Hollywood classic that I've never seen. I need to correct that. Maybe I'll do it before this little winter break is over. We'll see. Good week in Knicksland. For the second or third week in a row, I think you hit the predictions on the head, right? Yeah, that's very upsetting, but we'll get to that later. And we got a couple of really exciting, in different ways, wins, bookending a loss that was like fine, understandable. Like, it was like one of the. I gotta say, maybe as we're about to get into our top fives of the year 2025, a weird phenomenon has unfolded recently, which is like you had the loss of the Timberwolves, you had the loss to the 76ers. Neither loss seemed to incite a lot of. It feels like for years now, every loss like incites hand wringing. After both of these losses, people are like, "Yeah, all right, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll be okay." Which is just such a new phenomenon for me, at least.
I felt the same way about those losses, which is why the Cavs game, I felt if you're going to lose this game, that just sucks because you felt like you could rest two of your best players for the Timberwolves game with the intention of winning the Christmas game.
Yes.
So if you're not going to do that, now you've lost 2 games this week, and then fortunately came back, won the Cavs game, great, and then you have to see this comeback attempt from the Hawks, and then I'm thinking like, guys, you just did this. Don't do it in reverse. Don't let the other team creep back in. And of course, somehow found a way. It really did feel like that goaltend or missed goaltend, I should say, changed the trajectory of the Hawks game. But at the same time, Hawks kept hitting threes. So if you're not going to stop them from hitting threes, then they're going to keep doing that. But it's funny because I still do feel worried at times, especially in those deficit games.
Okay.
There's this calming sense of, well, my team has Jalen Brunson and the other team doesn't. And then I feel okay. And usually it pays off. And for the last few weeks, it most certainly has. So even as worried as I was, as frustrated as I would have been with a loss on either against the Hawks or against the Cavs, I just felt it was going to be okay. And it was.
It was very okay. As we're going to get into pretty soon. Well, I don't want to give anything away about what may or may not end up on my list. But as we kind of transition to counting down our top 5, and we left it general. We left it. I'm choosing. I went with your language. You said top 5 moments, which as opposed to games, which I don't know if that's going to factor into anything. Whatever.
I went with games for whatever it's worth.
Oh, okay. I did games too, but
okay, great.
As we went with our top 5 games, top 5 moments, whatever of the last calendar year, it makes me think about where we are presently, and it's a concept that we have spoken about on this show over the course of the time that we have been doing this show, which is like, and it's going to sound silly, what is the point? What is the purpose of each of these games? What is the purpose of the 82 game season that we are in right now? When you have a team that has been one step away from the mountaintop, or at least one step away from competing to get to the top of the mountain, like what and is what as of right now, 2 games back of the Detroit Pistons. We are recording this at 7:11 p.m. The Boston Celtics are currently, what are they, up 5 in Portland. They're the closest threat to the Knicks in the East in 3rd place. If they won this game, I think that would pull them within 2. Everybody else in the East, a nice win from Toronto today, I should say. Everyone else in the East is kind of in a morass down below. But like, the Knicks are, barring something crazy, the Knicks are going to finish the season with a very good record, whether they're first in the East, second in the East. I suppose there's a possibility they could fall to 3rd, although I doubt it. So it's like, what are you looking for? And we just had this game that is, I mean, all things considered, probably the Kevin McCullough game until he does it again, or until I guess this becomes a regular thing. And so you're getting the emergence of these young players, but there's also this aspect of the season where you are looking for signs that this team is somehow different from last year, which was a team that it felt like always let us down, or we were always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so I don't know, as I was making my list, I was thinking about this, like how do I want to remember this year? Like what really mattered about the last calendar year in Knicks land, and it thinking just moving forward, like what matters from here on in. It's all kind of running together in my mind at the moment.
Well, as you were making your list, did you check it twice?
I went with my gut.
Okay.
And I stuck with it. I'll say that.
Sure. So just once then.
It was
can be
once,
honest.
but it was once, but it was like it was a thorough. Like I made the list very slowly. I was very methodical and careful and contemplative as I made the list.
That's okay. That's fair. That's all I needed to know. In terms of this team, it feels like every week or two, a new folk hero drops. Like it feels like the team unlocks a new player where fans are just like, oh, I didn't realize that that player had it, or it's I knew that player had it. We're just waiting for that player to be able to showcase it. And it's so much fun to be able to see in real time the next man up philosophy and how deep the team feels. And watching this and seeing them win close games or seeing them win big games, finding guys who step up when they need to, whether they are expected to or not. It feels like when someone falls short, there's just another player right there who says, hey, I got it. And they move. The Hawks pointing fingers consistently when there were breakdowns, the Knicks not doing that, especially against the Cavs. There's a level of trust that goes deeper. It doesn't need a players only meeting or a team meeting, which the Hawks actually had prior to the Knicks game. There's no communication breakdown that's so severe that's causing this. And now winning usually addresses everything. But even when the Knicks are winning, it doesn't feel like, okay, we're watching a team that doesn't have it figured out and is winning based on talent alone. It's a cohesive bunch. And I just continue to love this team. Something about it is it's just capturing my heart. And
what's not to love?
Exactly. It feels like even as we approach the trade deadline, there are so many players that I like here and just want it to work, period. But the fact still being like the way that it is created, the way that they have a system in place, it's just such a joy to be able to see this. I mean, that's really one of the ultimate presents is to have a team that like I'm freaking out over a Hawks game in December when it really shouldn't mean a ton, but it does. But then I'm still, assuaged by Jalen Brunson being on this team. But we're at the point now, and I get it, it's still end of December. We've got a lot of basketball left where I'm tracking not just the teams in the East, I'm tracking the top teams in the West. And that to me feels like the Knicks are really entering that other conversation or have already been in that conversation because when I see, hey, the Thunder lost, the Spurs lost, the Nuggets lost, the Pistons lost, praise be to the Utah Jazz. When I see this and I'm thinking the Knicks have a chance to consistently move up, they're not even that far away from securing home court advantage throughout the entire NBA playoffs if they can just keep this up. And considering that their schedule hasn't been quite as easy as, say, Oklahoma City or Detroit. With all that in mind, just still watching this team without any of the other teams ahead of them, it's joy. I look forward to every single game. That's exactly what I wanted to start the season. And that's exactly what they're providing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I worry slightly less about the standings and more, for me, like winning these games in the fashion that they're winning them when they, make the big plays down the stretch, which they've consistently made in pretty much all of the, I mean, they made big plays down the stretch against Atlanta, against Cleveland, against Miami, against Indiana, like obviously in the NBA Cup, they did it. So this is now becoming a habit for this team. When they make these big plays down the stretch, it feels like, you're putting money in the piggy bank and you're saving up to buy something down the line, even though we know that's not really the way it works. It's not like if you're in a playoff series, suddenly you could make a withdrawal from that bank and it's like, all right, here we can guarantee ourselves a win or whatever. And yet it does feel like it matters. So like, putting aside, as you said, the signs that we're seeing from these younger players, and then obviously bigger picture storylines that we've been tracking, how does Mitchell Robinson look? How is, his Cat's, defense evolving? Is his offense evolving? Is Cat generally evolving? Certainly evolved in getting to the line. That much is for sure. So aside from all that stuff, all these games feel like they matter. which is good. It's as I said on last night's show, that's kind of been my theme of the season: take no win for granted, and I try to enjoy all of them. So, on that note, good transition. Let's get into our top fives. I will preface this by saying I don't know how did you approach making this list? I'll just ask you that.
I started going through last year's schedule from January 1st and combed through it, looked at the playoffs, looked at the regular season this year, got to this point. I just thought of what are my favorite wins? Because obviously that was the point. It wasn't top 5 games in my mind. It was the top 5 wins. And usually it's hard to find a game where they don't win it, where it's in your top 5. You can learn from it, but
there was one which I'll get to in honorable mentions. There was one I considered.
Sure. But I considered the circumstances and weighed them heavily because there are some regular season games that actually felt more impactful than playoff wins, which on the surface, crazy, right? It's all about the playoffs. But in terms of what it meant to me, and again, same for you, same for me, this is lists according to us. These are not objective. These are purely, it's all art in terms of how you view it. But this was my subjective view on those games. And I came up with a list. I have 9 games. I figured that you would have some and needed some backups just in case. And if not, we got some honorable mentions to shout out at the end.
Yeah. So for me, it's funny. The day that I stopped stealing from the Big Picture podcast will be the day that probably the Big Picture podcast is no longer around, which I hope that day never comes. It's just my favorite podcast. They are nearly at the end of their 25 for 25 that inspired our 25 for 25 that we did this summer. They on theirs had a rule: no director can appear more than once on the list. So I, for my list, made a personal rule that I was not going to include multiple games from the same playoff series. And I did that, one, because I just thought it'd be a more interesting list. But 2, I felt like it would be, because let's be honest, you could make an argument, and I did a little article for the Knicks Film School Patreon a couple weeks ago, trying to count down or rank the top 10 wins of the last 25 plus years. And I wrote then, and I'll say now, I think there's an argument that the 4 wins against the Boston Celtics in the Eastern semifinals, you could argue that those were 4 of the 5 or 6 best wins of the last 25 plus years since the 2000, Eastern Conference finals. But aside from that, I wanted to create a list that I look back on, 5 or 10 years from now, and it was like, I got a representative sample size of what this year was, what it felt like from January till the end of December. Obviously, we have one more game or two more games to go, so it was a little premature. But if we have to make any amendments, we'll do so on our next episode. So that was my rule that I set out.
I will abide by that rule.
You don't have to. I mean,
I think it's more fun to do because that's the benefit of coming up with more than you need. It's now I've got spares, so
you do have spares. You always come with spares.
Gotta come prepared. The people deserve that.
Yes, they do. Okay. Without further ado, age before beauty means I would go for. I don't know. You go first. You start off.
Okay.
Number 5 on your list.
Number 5 on my list. All right. Well, if I'm taking out games that are from the same. Okay. Number 5, I've got the Knicks versus the Memphis Grizzlies from last year. It would help if I had the dates for these, probably.
That's okay. I have the date right here for you because it made
February 28th. There we go.
Made my honorable mentions.
February 28th, 2025. That was an incredibly exciting game. Was watching that at a buddy's house, and it was Mitchell Robinson's first game back. So this was game 60 or 59. I think it was game 60 because he missed 59.
It was
games.
Game 50. That's weird. Why is it was game 59. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, the Knicks down need a huge swing to get them back. and to have a comeback win off of a huge OG Anunoby shot, and then defending John Morant, who got a pretty good look right around the rim, but missed it. That plus Mr. Robinson returning, that was one of the first games that really made me feel alive that season. Last year was really not an enjoyable regular season, as I've talked about, at least for me. So seeing that game, that was kind of, it wasn't even the statement win, but it kind of was that statement win we've talked about, because it's a team that was really struggling against the Cavs, against the Celtics, and against the Thunder. And the Grizzlies were second in the West at that point. The wheels fell off actually shortly after that for Memphis. But before then, it was a really great win. And seeing that, it felt like, okay, this could be the start of something. I don't know what. I'm still a little concerned, but the Knicks have a good record. It's just not a clean win, but this was a good away win against a great team at that time. And it was done heroically, and welcome back, Mitch. It's really nice to have a starting caliber center in the fray, not named Karl Anthony Towns. So that was a welcome sight. So that made number 5 on my list.
It's a great pick. Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, 17 points off the bench, 3 of 5 from deep in that game. Memorably. Yes, Mitchell Robinson stood out. Also, as you said, I mean, which is funny to think back on now, with given everything that's happened to the Grizzlies since then. Although they're doing okay, I guess now. They were 38-20 coming into that game. The Knicks coming into that game were 38-19. So they were essentially like pretty much neck and neck. Near the top of their conferences, behind obviously OKC and Cleveland. It's a really good pick. You could argue that it was the high point of last regular season, at least in the year 2025.
Are we talking the team is healthy? Like everyone's playing?
Well, so that'll be a good transition to my number 5, which is, and again, I should have my date handy. Definitely happened in March. Yes. March 12th, at Portland, 114-113. Ironically, the exact same final score as the game that's number 5 on your list. The Mikal Bridges buzzer beater against the I was going to say Timberwolves, against the Trailblazers, coming. Was it on the day that the comments, or was it the day after? My memory is such shit. It was that day, the Tibbs comments,
I believe it was that day, because the press conference was.
Yeah, it was like pregame. Yeah. Okay. So Bridges was, I think he was in a scrum, or maybe it was just a Bondi. I forget. But basically, called Tibbs an old fuddy-duddy, said he should give more guys on the bench an opportunity to play. Said the comment that maybe the 4 words that wound up getting him fired. I'm not putting Bridges' comments on like saying like Bridges got Tibbs fired, but my suspicion will always be that there was just the rankling within the organization got to a certain point that the right people, the wrong people, I guess, from Tom Thibodeau's perspective, just like they went past the point of no return with him. And I think set in his ways, those 4 words, I think maybe push things, past the point where it would have needed, I don't know, I guess maybe a finals berth to have him be back. But it was a hell of a game. It was a hell of a game from Mikal Bridges. It was a hell of a game from Josh Hart. And it was just like a really fun back and forth. A lot of big time shot making down the stretch. And then Bridges, was that the only buzzer beater of the season? I feel like, well, I think it might have been, of the regular season at least.
It might have been. I mean, also no Brunson in that game.
No, well, that's the other part of it. It came during the stretch where Brunson was out. Yeah,
exactly. That was on my honorable mention. It really, it was so funny how it set the tone in the, to your point, with the Tibbs factor, right? Like, it seems okay. We, as fans, we're talking amongst ourselves with the minutes. Now here's someone coming out and saying something that he knows would be pretty inflammatory. And it was.
And not just anyone. The guy playing the most minutes.
Yes. So, it led to what it led to, and clearly it paid off. And yeah, just a huge shot. The fact that it went to overtime in the first place, whatever, they got it done. And that was a really fun win.
That was a wild game. Anyway, okay, that was my number 5. Your number 4.
My number 4 is going to be, in this case, let's see, if I'm only doing one game per series, I'm going to go with round 1, game 6 against the Detroit Pistons, 116-113.
Okay.
So for context, the Knicks choked not 1, but 2 double-digit leads. And then there was a huge Cat steal. We had a great Bridges offensive rebound off of a Brunson miss to go for the tip-in to tie the score.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jalen Brunson just doing Jalen Brunson things, where he had that stumble in isolation against Schroeder, where he somehow managed to flip it in underneath the basket. And of course, that cut the deficit to 2. And then the go-ahead pull-up 3, putting Asar Thompson somewhere, I don't know, in another city in not Detroit, another city in Michigan. He was in Dearborn, I guess. And that was with 4.3 seconds remaining. It was a pull-up 3, Beasley turnover to pretty much end the game. And that was that. That game, that was on a night where I was working during the game. I was hosting a client when we were doing a drone show. And we were actually helping them set a Guinness World Record for most drones for a crypto company or crypto icon. So being able to watch the game from my phone was a little tricky because I had to do hosting duties and also be a fan. And I remember going to the spot where the drone show is going on and the drones are in the air. And when they're in the air, they're doing their thing. We obviously have pilots to make sure everything's safe, but the drones are up there. They're following the path files that they need to follow. And I'm just staring at the bar with the TVs that's showing Knicks Pistons. And I'm just watching the play and I'm like, okay, yep, yeah, that, all right, things are going well. All right, but what's this play? What's going on? All right, double-digit lead. Let's go. Great. Let's focus on okay, yeah, got to do the work thing. We're doing fine. Awesome. So for me, it was that added level of stress where I thought, oh my God, we're going to go to a game 7. This is really pushing it further than it needed to be. And when I went back to the grid and Brunson hit that shot, just was screaming in celebration. Made for a great memory. That's number 4.
That was Brunson's it was his playoff high point total. I'm actually wondering, did he ever, it was his season high, sorry, not point total. Season high field goal attempt total. He shot 33 field goals in the game. And it was the first of, or one of, shouldn't give it away, one of 2 40-point games he had in the 2025 playoffs. Jeremy Cohen, if someone were to ask me what the other one was, I might have gone through 3 or 4 guesses before I got it. Can you tell me what the other 40?
Say that again. Sorry, is it for Brunson, the 40-point game?
What was the other 40-plus point game that Jalen Brunson had in the 2025 NBA playoffs? I would not have gotten this. You could have given. I wouldn't have gotten this.
Based on you saying that, was it a Pacers game?
Yes.
Okay. Was it game 6?
No.
No. No, wait. Actually,
he played like shit in game 6.
That's true. Yeah. Sometimes these blur together for me, as we talked about.
I'm terrible at
great. The individual games, I'm like, what exactly? Oh, right. All right. Game 5.
We keep going.
It was game 1.
It was game 1.
Okay, that's exactly why I didn't remember it.
Fucking best Cat offensive game I've ever seen as in a Knick uniform. Jalen Brunson had 43 points on 25 shots, and they, to this day. Okay, that was great. My number.
Glad we could find an opportunity to talk about the best wins and still trigger ourselves and others in the process. But it was going to come up eventually. It couldn't not.
It's gonna, for me, it's gonna hang over my fandom until, I don't know if it's until they make the finals or until they win a championship. It's definitely one of them. So yeah, that's great.
They won a championship, so you're good. You don't have to worry about that. They did it this.
Thank you so much. Well, don't spoil the rest of the list. My number 4 was a couple days ago, Christmas Day. Christmas Day game was, again, like you were watching a drone show. I was hosting in my house on Christmas and trying to put out antipasto and make my brother-in-law a cocktail and, pretend like I was paying attention to kids opening gifts. And all the while I'm either in the den watching or on have my laptop there with the game on and like one headphone in. And to go back to what we were talking about before about like this team, consistently reminding us who they are and what they're made of. That Christmas game, I forget if I wrote this in my newsletter, but I'll say it now. Someone said to me with like 5 or 6 minutes left, like, oh, what's going on? I think it was actually my wife. It was like, what's going on in the game? I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be over soon. They're gonna lose. And I didn't even say it like I was trying to like reverse jinx it. I was just like matter of factly like they're gonna lose the game. They're just not gonna win. And I think they were down 16 at the time. And then they came back and just like, but this is what this team does. And that's why the game made my list, in addition to the fact that it was obviously a memorable game because of the holiday. It is the Cavs. I wonder if the Cavs blew their wad with this game because apparently they forgot that they had more basketball games on their schedule, judging from their coach's comments after their loss to, I think it was the Rockets the other night. So yeah, Christmas Day game.
Now that was going to be on my list. Do you want me to skip it or do you want me to include
I want you to stay true to you.
Great.
That's what I'm probably going to have. We're probably going to have some overlap. In fact, I would be shocked if we did not have overlap.
Yeah. No, I mean, what are we going to say? A November? Well, actually, that's the wrong year. But like, hey, they beat the Kings by 1 billion points. That's number one. No, it's not going to be the case. So.
I have my 5. I'm sticking with my 5. If it overlaps with your 5, it's totally fine.
So that one would be playing by the 1 game per series. That's my number 3. I mean, just a valiant comeback win. There are a lot of reasons for why the Knicks excelled. A lot of them are incredibly valid. The most valid is that the real reason that the Knicks came back and won was because my dad came in to watch the game with me. And once that happened, everything started clicking into place. This was right after the heart injury. So my dad was really the one who propelled that win. Nice. So shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, it was the kind of thing where I don't observe Christmas quite in the same way. And I was feeling like, damn, this has ruined my Christmas. I just, it's the day. I got to deal with the whole rest of the day today. I don't want to have to think about the Knicks losing this game. And it's fine in the grand scheme of things, but no, they should be winning. It's Christmas. This is what they should do. And they did it because they find a cast of characters that can have a story arc. And the way that they were able to do that was great. And it was really lovely to be able to share that with my dad. We don't get to watch a lot of games together. So when he's asking me, who's that white guy? And I'm like, let me tell you about Tyler Kolek, Dad. Well, it's great. It's really funny to be able to do that. And that's what family and the holidays are all about. Being able to inform your father of white basketball players.
I completely forgot. I'm surprised you're stationary for this episode. You should be running victory laps around me with this fucking Kolek thing.
There are no victory laps here to do by myself. It's together. We're together. Look, he's done well. I'm glad he's gotten the opportunity, and I'm glad that he's helping them win games. The craziest part is it's on the defensive end where he's showing the impact, which if you'd asked me that, I would have been like, well, no, I mean, he's a pick and roll ball handler. He can pull up, but no, it's how he's impacting the defensive side where you see him for final possessions being in the game. And I'm just like, how did we get here? Tyler Kolek is how we got here. Great scouting. And to that point, just from a broader perspective, because as we see Kolek play well, as we see the Kevin McCullough game, as we see Hakporti come up in big spots, Pacome Dadier, maybe there are times where it's
participating.
Yeah. There are times where as fans, it felt like the front office didn't deliver on this and they whiffed. They just couldn't cook. Perhaps it really just needed a marinade. Perhaps these players just needed to slowly marinate and enhance their flavor and get better over time. And then we see these moments where it's like, they're doing all right. They're doing just fine. And they're holding their own. And if we're talking about development, especially from that draft class, and then you look at someone like Diawara, who I love how he plays. Like, he doesn't feel raw in the sense of that Kevin Knox, like, okay, he could be anything. You could mold him into whatever you want him to be. No, this is a very
bad.
Well, I meant in terms of the hype. It's really more just like, no, this guy is a very clear 6'8", big-bodied dude who can play defense, and he's not hesitating on the shots. If anything, he's got a green light in his head, and he's finding nice passes. Or at least he's generating good looks for his teammates. He's playing in ways that are so complementary. And to be able to have that in-house and not have to shop for that, it's wonderful. But to see some of that on display on Christmas, in addition to the bargain bin shopping that you got with Jordan Clarkson, 25 points off the bench. It just even his misses turned into a Mitchell Robinson rebound that then turned into it was kind of a hockey assist for Mitch, but maybe once removed. Being able to just create those looks because of how the ball moves and the efficiency and the right shots that they're taking, it's a beautiful thing. Merry Christmas.
20 years old, Mr. Diawara. It's not bad. I'm irrationally excited about Mo Diawara.
Sure.
It was a great game, great comeback, all the stuff you said, 100% true. My number 3 is my Detroit series entrant, but it's not game 6, it's game 4. Because game 4, for me, the way the game ended with the 3 massive Karl Anthony Towns shots, and then yes, it ended on a questionable call. That if that call goes the other way, I honestly don't want to know how the rest of that series goes. But for me, it was other than game 1 was a lot of jubilation, but game 1, the jubilation over the campaign run, and Cat also had a really obviously very good close to game 1. I was like so pissed off by how poorly they played over the first 3 quarters of game 1. Now, great that I can say the same thing about game 4, because that's the thing about that series, and that's why I almost didn't put any game from the Detroit series on, because I was so pissed off at them for the entirety of that series for how just badly they were playing. Credit to Detroit for that, I guess, and especially with how Detroit's doing this year. Like, maybe we'll look back on that series. Maybe I should already look back on that series differently. But in the moment, I was just so pissed off. But the way that they won game 4, those 3 catch shots, and the last thing I'll say on it, the game 6, obviously, look, the Brunson shot will live on for decades. But winning that game was more a sigh of relief. Like, thank God we're done with these fucking guys. Whereas game 4 for me was more like jubilation. So that's why it's my personal entry from the Detroit series.
See, that feeling of sigh of relief, I had that. I don't want to spoil anything that you may have, but I don't think this is going to be in your top 2. I had that for the game 6 against Boston, because that to me was, we can't go back to Boston. I don't care if Jason Tatum is unable to play. I do not want to see this team go back to Boston.
What?
I just want them to take care of business. And then that really wasn't much of a question after like the first quarter. It felt smooth sailing from there and a lot of low stress. But that game, because I knew if the Pistons won 3 games, really, well, no, not 3 games. They won 2 of the games in Madison Square Garden, lost all 3 at Little Caesars. But I just didn't feel worried about going back to MSG in a game 7 against Detroit. Oh, I don't say that sure, but I felt more worried about going to another team's arena than coming home. With that said, the Knicks actually played seemingly better on the road than they did at home last year. I honestly don't even know if the record is indicative of that, but that's the feeling it was. It just felt like, yeah, you can go into another team's building and you can beat them, but when you come here, I really just hope for the best. And in the playoffs, I mean,
3.
I think it was probably a losing record at home.
They lost 5
least-
games at home.
Yes.
They won 1, 2,
6 and 5,
3,
and 5.
4. They were 4 and 5 at home in the
Okay,
playoffs.
so yeah, they were better on the road.
7, 8, 9. Yeah. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the NBA Cup.
So we have the same number 2. Okay.
Yeah. So that was really,
so
and
fascinating.
I was looking through the games this year, and by this year I mean this season. And the thing about this season was, there were a lot of good games, a lot of compelling moments. This is fun, but it really didn't start to click until that game. And that was the game where it truly felt like, oh no, this team, they might have the stuff that makes seasons special.
Yep.
They could really do this. Orlando, it felt like, well, yes, they came back from a minor deficit, but Orlando was out Franz. And we've seen what the Knicks have looked like against Franz Wagner and the Magic. But we haven't seen a team like San Antonio. And San Antonio just took out Oklahoma City. And if Oklahoma City is the overwhelming favorite to win, then of course you're either playing that team or the team that beat the favorite. So then they get the credit. And it's really just that beginning of the fourth quarter that's etched into my mind. And the end of the fourth quarter, obviously, great moments where it felt like this team has it. But it was that 4 to 6 minute stretch to start the fourth, where you have Mitch just absolutely
Getting every
taking
rebound.
out
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama. And of course, Victor was dealing with the loss of his grandmother. But this was a healthy Spurs team. But to neutralize a player as elite as him and just take him out of the game in so many ways. And to have Kolek come up big, to have Clarkson be huge. Who else am I miss?
No, I think you
there was
got
one
all
other player that
Clarkson was massive. You know what I would say? I would pull up the game score, but the box score is so fucking hard to find because you can't just go to Basketball Reference or like the ESPN schedule. So I have to Google NBA Cup Finals Spurs Knicks to pull it up, which is just thanks NBA, great job.
And OG, of course, played really well in that first half, and Brunson, obviously.
Oh, that's what it was. OG.
Yeah,
first half, keeping them in it. Yeah, that he was freaking massive. Yeah,
it was just how they were able to defend, score in transition, and capitalize, and that just felt like the epitome of the Knicks basketball that fans love. That is etched into the DNA. That has been so much of a theme of this year, which is why I'm really curious as to where we stand on the number 1 pick, because I feel like it's a coin flip between there. But the opportunity for these Knicks to make it they never make it easy. But it almost felt like, spot me double digits, bet. We're gonna do all right. We're gonna be just fine. And it's all of these comebacks, and this NBA Cup game was no difference. And yes, we could say this is a championship. That's really cool and it's fun, and it is. But with that in mind, if there's a defining moment for this season, it has to be that game. And it just, again, showed this could be the beginning of something really special. Let's keep working. Let's keep seeing what it does, because that was a lot of fun.
Even if it wasn't the NBA Cup, you can make an argument that the game belongs on the list, because that was the greatest stretch of offensive rebounding from a guy who is kind of establishing himself as greatest offensive rebounder of his generation. A generation is like it's too wide, but like the best offensive rebounder certainly of the moment in the NBA. And like, it's really been him and Steven Adams for a few years now. Now Steven Adams is awesome, but like the point remains, he's one of the 2 best over the last 5 years at this one thing, and that was the best he's ever done it in a sustained stretch of time. So this is going to be really interesting. I actually don't know where you go. What's your number 1? Which Boston game?
I've got game 2.
You got game 2. Okay.
What do you have?
So obviously this is going to come as a surprise to you. I have game 6.
Okay, that is a surprise. Here I was talking about it earlier, but fair enough.
So I could talk about it first, because like, look, let me again to reference the big picture list. There, I don't know if you've been following. They only have one more spot, and it is, again, because it's only one movie per director. it is the Fincher spot. It seems like they're going to go with the Social Network, but both hosts of the show have like made arguments over the years that Zodiac, in their opinion, is actually the better film. I'm bringing that up again to make a comparison to this series. I genuinely think that you could make an argument that any of the 4 wins against Boston in the Eastern Conference semifinals, you could make an argument that it was the best win of the century for this basketball team. I think you can make the argument about game 1 because it was the first time they made the comeback. You are maybe about to make the argument about game 2 because it's like miracles don't happen twice, let alone twice in the span of 3 days. And oh wait, it did. I think you can make the game that I feel like is going to get underrated in time, maybe because it will be known as the Tatum Achilles game, is game 4, because I don't know that I ever saw that particular Knicks team play better than they did over the second half of that game, and Jalen Brunson in particular from a shot making perspective, just all perspectives. And then there's my pick, which is game 4, which was my number 1, and I do think it was the most significant Knicks moment of the century, because it was 25 years worth of demons getting exercised. Was it a competitive game? No, obviously it was not a competitive game. It was a party for 2.5 to 3 quarters, essentially. I couldn't even tell you, like, did they play well in the game? I mean, obviously they played well enough to go up big, but like the second half was like such a weird thing. None of that matters to me. That was just a release. It was a complete and total release. And, even with no Tatum, to kind of topple the team that they were built to topple, that everybody said they couldn't topple, that they certainly showed no signs of being able to topple over the course of the regular season. Even now thinking about it, I get a little emotional. It was a really special night. So that was why it was my number 1, but make the argument for game 2.
I agree with you, first off, that you could make an argument for all 4 of them being the best of the century. As I said, it was the just get it done. Oh, please just get it done. And then when they coasted, it was like, okay, we can kind of take our foot off the gas, but at the same time, not dead yet. Gotta just ride this out. So to me, it was the Knicks were playing the clock for game 6, but I'm glad that for you, it was the 25 years coming to a head and exercise demon. It's out for game 2. And I really debated, do I want it to be game 1? Do I want it to be game 2? And then it really didn't take that much debate from there, because to your point,
Really?
game one was a big surprise, right? It was, okay, this team is down by 20. They're going to lose. I'm expecting the Celtics to win this series anyway, based on just how they've done.
Well, they call the series after 3 games.
And then they keep working and they keep at it. And then it goes to overtime, amazingly. And then it ends with what? A Bridges steal on Jaylen Brown. And you think, oh my God, they won. Well, that's great. Look, they did it. They play better away than they do at home. So did they steal one and maybe they still lose in 6? I don't know. That was the feeling in that moment, but it was still amazing. Up 1-0. Can't believe it. They did it. To happen again.
Yeah.
In twice in 3 days, as you talked about, down 20, being able to come back, barely eclipse the Celtics, even if it was by 1, but to have Mikal Bridges again seal the deal by blocking Tatum, stealing it, and just like in game 1, chucking the ball so that time gets erased. So much of last season was wasted. And I mean wasted because time well spent is not time wasted. But arguing back and forth about the Mikal Bridges trade was a waste of time. And I respect the viewpoint of it was a mistake. That's fine. But I didn't see it as a mistake. I really wish they hadn't dealt the 2031 pick. But that's also the market price for those types of players. And to see someone who clearly struggled in an environment that he was in, where he, as we talked about, wasn't meshing with the coach, where there was a report in the summer of, well, there was a player who was considering not extending if Tibbs remained. Come on, who was the one guy who's extension eligible that really has that kind of sway. It's not Mitchell Robinson. So to be able to see him be everywhere, and mind you, he scored 14 of the team's first 16 points in the fourth quarter of game 2. He was all over the place on both sides of the ball.
I'm literally looking at the box score right now. Bridges 2, Bridges 2, Bridges 3. Mitch with an assist from Josh Hart. I actually don't remember that at all. Bridges 2, Bridges 2, Bridges 3, and then it was Brunson time for a little bit.
So to be able to do all of that and really make that trade feel like, yeah, you got to give to get. And you know what the Knicks got? They got a really great wing who is being underutilized and is still making a huge impact on the heavy favorite, to the point that the Knicks now have to lose 4 of their next 5 in order to not advance. That was that feeling. I left that game 2 feeling like they have this. They're going to do this. Like, truly, they're going to do this. And look, maybe we recorded and I felt differently, and I'm having a Mandela effect of my own. But to that point, it still just felt like, okay, they're in the driver's seat. They can do this. Game 3, of course, felt like, all right, don't let them get a second one. They already got one. Tatum injury, of course. But it was really game 2 where it felt like you can go into TD Garden and you can steal not 1, but 2 games in a 7-game series. But that second one was oh no, that wasn't just it happens. That was, this team just does this.
Yeah.
And that felt like just so much of the ethos of their culture. And it has carried through into this year, even with a different head coach, even with different play styles, even with different personnel, slightly adjusted, but still different. It feels like that feeling of, we're really that good. We can do this, has carried over. And to me, that's been everything. So that was my number 1.
It's funny hearing you just say that. Really crystallized something for me, and after this we'll maybe do a very brief game ball and detention and do predictions and get out of here. Constantly when I'm listening to Zach Lowe on his not the Low Post, the Jeopardy, the Zach Lowe show, he talks about how, you know, the reason why he picked the Knicks to go to the finals is they have that something extra where it's like they never up, they never quit. We are, as Knicks fans, and Knicks fans who like not only watch every game, but we create content about the team, and we're, you know, very much in the weeds. I feel like that quality that they have, not that it gets lost on us or even that we take it for granted, but it's like we're constantly, because we're fans and this is what fans do, we're constantly focusing on the stuff that like is happening where that make it so that they need to come back, or they need to show this resolve, or they need to display this like steely demeanor and all of the, you know, those sorts of things. And we're like, that stuff frustrates us, and it all of that stuff. If you zoom out for a second, and I think that's why I'm so happy we did this list, because that quality that they have was displayed in all of these games that we talked about. And more than that, if we did a top 5 list for the year before that, for 2024, we would have found 5 more games, and we could have extended this list to 10 games or 15 games. The point is, this is this team's DNA. And the real fucking crime of game 1 against Indiana is it's like the fly. It really is the fly staring up at you in the soup. It's like the most beautiful bowl of lobster bisque you've ever had, and there's it's not even a fly, it's a cockroach. And it's like, this could be the most beautiful lobster bisque I've ever had, and yet I'm not even going to touch it. And that's why I hate that game so much, not to end on like a down note, because really this should be all we think about when it comes to this team, is their ability to overcome adversity, to come back, and to never say die. And hopefully we end up looking back at that stupid fucking game as just that, one stupid fucking game, and not the thing that will like supersede all of this stuff that we're talking about, because this team at this point deserves to go down in NBA history, whether they win a championship or not. It's like, oh yeah, that Knicks team in the 2020s, the one that you could like, it was like fucking Michael Myers. You had to shoot him 9 times and then stab him 8 times, and like they still weren't dead. That's what this team should go down as in the memory banks of anybody, not just Knicks fans. And I hope they do. That's what I'll say. I hope they do.
It's all about storytelling. That's really what it is. You
Yeah.
know, they're the villain, the team that made it feel like these moments we could have had more moments. We could have had an opportunity to talk about games that were even higher level than this. And that was taken by another team. And that
They did
sucks.
take it.
They did. They stole it. They took it, but it was also theirs. Maybe it was just temporarily the Knicks. It doesn't matter. History is told by the victors. And that's
Indeed
why I hope so much for this season and the next few seasons, because if that's just another really fascinating and compelling chapter in this story, then it makes it even more worth it. It makes it even more worthwhile. Like, you don't want to hurt, but if you hurt that badly, that means that you loved something so much that it caused you that much grief. And man, I hope that we have the opportunity to look at how joyful things can be and be like, the things that cut us the most make this feel even more wonderful. But
Well
see.
said. Yes, we will see. In about 5 or 6 months. Game ball. Let's give out a quick game ball and detention for this week. Given to one player, coach, or entity that deserves special recognition for their accomplishments. The games that we are considering: the loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then of course the Christmas win over Cleveland, and then the win last night in Atlanta. You predicted 2-1. They went 2-1. So your game ball goes to
Karl Anthony Towns.
I was just figuring, yeah.
Giving it to Cat. Didn't have a couple players on his team, so carried the Knicks in a lot of ways from a scoring perspective in Minnesota. Did not have a great game on Christmas, but did get a crucial tip in that helped lead to the win. Got engaged, so congratulations to him. And then finally got a great whistle. Not better than a good whistle. Like,
he earned it. He earned it.
Absolutely
He
did.
earned
He
it.
absolutely did. So got a great whistle. Was incredibly important to that Hawks win too. Played in all 3 games. Got to give it to him.
I'll go with Kolek. Despite like nobody had a perfect week this week, so nobody went truly 3 for 3. This was Tyler Kolek's week. The Minnesota game, he got the start, nearly had a triple double, and then obviously, Cleveland. Just like, the only question is, will we think back on the Cavs game as the Tyler Kolek game? I don't think we will. I think this is incredibly real. And I think he is going to be, hopefully for the Knicks, a real player in this league for a long time. His emergence has made this like 17% more interesting to me. The emergence of Mohamed Diawara has made like the next, or is like more interesting to me for like the next 2-3 years. The Kolek thing has made this season. Not that I don't think Kolek is going to be good for a while, but like, it's just, he's ready now. Like, we know he's ready now. And so it's just, how big of a role is he going to play on this team moving? Is he going to be like their 6th man? Like, you could tell me anything and I would believe it at this point, because his highs have been that high. So Tyler Kolek gets my game ball. And then we will transition to my detention, or our detention, given to one player, coach, or entity that deserves to go into a dark room for a long time and think about what they did wrong and can do better next time.
It's a tough one this week, right?
Fuck it. Julius, man, it's not my fucking problem that you needed to smoke the ganja while you were here, and that now you're feeling happy-go-lucky and hunky-dory and all the whatever the fuck, and you're dancing up and down. You know what? have some respect, man. That was fucked up. Like, you run hot and cold, and it was, I thought, a little bit beneath you to do what you did on the old basketball court there in Minnesota. Especially, you're dancing because you beat a team that didn't have its best offensive player and its best defensive player. Okay, come on, really? So Julius Randle, you go in detention.
I was surprised the way he stared down the Knicks bench and so many of their coaches.
Were you really?
Oh, I was, in the sense where it's like the people who were employed aren't really there. Like, what, you're looking at Darren Erman and staring him down? Like, that's what you're doing? It just, I understand what you're saying. Like, am I surprised? No, of course, because this is someone who walked off the court and didn't shake hands when they lost. But then when there's no Brunson, he's flexing and mean mugging, and that's fine. But also, like, congrats. He had a great fourth quarter. He was just terrible the first three.
I was about to say, the whole reason he needed to have a great fourth quarter is because he sucked ass for the first three quarters. It shouldn't have been a close game.
It also is like, I'm just glad you're where you want to be, but it's clearly more than that. He's still fueled by disdain. And then when you hear Cat talk about his time in Minnesota, and I understand the terms were different, right? They both left on different terms, but Cat, he has nothing but praise for Minnesota. He still talks about how he loves it, how it's weird to go into the visitors section instead of going to the home section. You see Ant on the bench as Cat looks like he's getting fouled, where he's like advocating for it. It's that sort of thing. And with Julius, it just feels like you're your own dude. You fit. It's not just about your new home. It's still about your old home in a way where you're resentful and you feel bitter. And if you want to carry that with you, that's your life, man. But if you feel it's for the best to be in Minnesota, I'm happy with the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is here. I don't need to think about January 2024 in order to achieve nirvana. I can think about what this team looks like, and because I've seen it with my own eyes, for how they've been able to achieve more than what the Knicks achieved with Julius Randle. So I think that's a worthwhile person. And if that in mind, I'm going to put Trae Young in detention. John.
Fucking why not?
Why not? John, 718 isn't just an area code for New York, specifically in Brooklyn and Queens. No, 718 is also the three digits of the record that Trae has against the Knicks, 7 and 18. So, when you roll the dice on the Knicks garden floor, cool, man. Glad you got stomped out in Vegas. By the way, the Knicks just went to Vegas this year and came away with an NBA Cup. So that was fun. When you told fans, you better make for the exits because you won a game, even though you lose most of the games against the Knicks. That's fine. You can do that. The Knicks still consistently beat you. When you get lost on the dribble and don't even bother to get up, and then Jalen Brunson splashes a three as you're 5 feet behind him, that's not really a great teammate. And I'm really glad that you have a player option, because you're probably going to need it. Because wherever, just what are you doing to impact your team? Because Jalen Johnson's taken an offensive leave and he's forgotten how to play defense, and you never even learned. So it just feels like, I want you to have your moments, but in terms of the villains that we talked about, to me, it's not even Trae Young's a villain. I understand we're talking about him, but it's almost just because it's that front running status. It's the front runner portion where it's like, Trae, you could be a legitimately all NBA player, but the way that you've carried yourself just as a whole, it turns me off to the whole experience, because and this is the thing that's always bothered me. And you know me, I've been a Brunson truther since the Mavericks days. What Jalen Brunson does on the defensive end, it's not great, but it's the level of effort and care and rotation that he does. It's not an IQ thing. It's just, I have physical limitations and I can overcompensate by doing it on offense. And Trae Young, he is showing he struggles with co-stars. They have not won a game with him in the lineup since he's returned. This is a me first player, And I'm so curious about how his career turns out because he can change the trajectory. But now he's starting to enter that John Morant conversation where you're like, well, you could trade this guy, but what are you really going to get from him? That's your star player, or was your star player if you're Atlanta. So Trae Young, there are two roads diverging. TL Woods, pick the right one. It's not the one that you're currently on. It's got to be the other one. You can be a better player. You can enhance your game. Do you really want that?
Great rant. That was really good. I said on the post game last night, like Trae Young doesn't matter. Like right now as in the way that it looked like he was going to matter in like the grand scheme of the NBA over the first however many years of his career, especially look, credit to him when he beat the Knicks in the playoffs and went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You can't discount an Eastern Conference Finals period or any conference finals period. You just can't. And then I started to go down this road on post game last night. I'm like, I can't do this right now. What do you think the Basketball Reference has is his Hall of Fame probability right now?
Well, he's made all NBA once.
He's made all NBA once, and third team, and he's made 4 All-Star teams in 8 years. Well, actually, 4 and 7. I assume he is not going to make it this year.
I mean, the NBA Hall of Fame bar is so low.
Basketball Hall of Fame, remember.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Yes. Has he won any international? He hasn't been a part of any
No,
because he's an individual player. Because team game isn't his thing.
4 All-Stars. Okay. His scoring average is I could pull up his scoring average if you want. It's very good scoring average. Like sure. I'm sure he's one of, I don't even off the top of my head, he's probably like one of 5 or 6 players in the history league to average X number of points and X number of assists, So he's got that. He's got the counting stats.
He's what, 29, 28 years old?
27, 28. This is the 8th year of his career. He is 20. Why can't I see this? 27. He just turned 27 actually.
Okay. I'm going to say that his odds are 25%.
You swear on someone important to you.
I did not. I swear on the cat that's right there. I swear. Is that actually it? Because I have
25.05%.
I was going to say 20, and then I decided, you know what? Let's bump him up, to a quarter.
And that was really well done.
Thank you. It was blind luck.
And he's at a really interesting line of demarcation because the top 20, I'm not going to go through all of them, obviously, but the top 26 guys on the list, like spoiler alert, all these guys are making it. I guess not if Donovan Mitchell like goes off a fucking cliff, maybe he doesn't, but he's going to make it. 26 is Rudy Gobert, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's making it. Trae Young's 28. 27 is Al Horford, who's like obviously nearing the end of his career and is like going to be he's going to be one of those guys that like they make him wait for a while, but like I have a funny feeling he's going to get in eventually. And then right now Trae Young is 28, and then after that, him at 25.05%. After that, you fall down to 7%, which is Domantas Sabonis, and then you get into guys like Devin Booker, DeAndre Jordan, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson. Obviously, we think that number is going to go up significantly. But like Trae Young is like right there in this little purgatory where it's like he's definitely not a guarantee, but 25% at the age of 27 is like, it's basically like if you just keep doing everything you've been doing for another half a dozen years, you're going to get in. I don't know, man. He's an interesting case. And to your point, his career is going to be interesting to follow from here on in.
Yeah, and keep in mind, what does Al Horford have that Trae Young doesn't?
a lot of the guys around. Well, yeah,
he's got an NCAA championship.
That too.
That helps. Again, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA. To your point.
Yeah. Fuck Trae Young. Okay, that was great. That went on for way too long. Let's do predictions. We have 4 games this week. Jeremy picks first. At New Orleans tomorrow night. At San Antonio, the rematch on New Year's Eve. Spurs just coming off a tough loss to the Jazz, right? Yeah, the Jazz. Mm-hmm. And then rematch Atlanta at Madison Square Garden, and then it's a back-to-back. So they play Philadelphia in the Garden the next night.
I worry I'm going to get burned on this one, but I'm going to go 3-1. You got 2 home games and an away game against a very inferior opponent that's missing Herb Jones. Might be missing. We'll see if Jose Alvarado gets suspended for any games for fighting Mark Williams. But you are. I mean, the Knicks will be missing Mitchell Robinson as well. I would imagine they're trying to preserve him for the 31st. And they got those 2 home games. Back-to-backs are tough. You'll have Mitch hopefully for one of them, ideally for the one on the 3rd as opposed to the 2nd.
I didn't even see Mitch is out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Left
That's
ankle.
great job by me. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was subtle, but yes, I'll confirm this, but I
saw the Mo Bamba news that the Raptors had signed Mo Bamba. I got that.
You know what's so funny about that? I
What?
thought that the biggest Mo Bamba news was going to be the use of Mo Bamba in one battle after another. But it turns out it was actually him signing an NBA contract. So good for him. And I hope he got some sort of licensing credit for by Paul Thomas Anderson or anyone.
That's fantastic. Deuce is questionable again. Okay. You're going 3-1.
Mm-hmm. Be bold. Come on.
Fuck off.
Do it. Oh, you don't believe in this team? You just have a podcast about the best moments of this whole year, and you won't pick 4-0?
What if they won 2 in a row? This would be 6 in a row. If they won all 4 of these games,
Didn't they just win 7 in a row?
They won a bunch of games in a row. I'm
they
aware.
could do it.
I'm aware.
Okay.
Of what they have done.
Sure.
Thank you.
It's fine.
It would put them at 26-9 if they won these 4. Christ.
Basketball Reference, by the way, has the Knicks and the Pistons with the same odds of finishing with the first seed in the East. The Pistons are ahead by a couple decimal points, but they're there.
I think they could absolutely win all 4 of these games. And I mean, like, not only can they win each of the 4, I think they can win all 4. I also think that there are no gimmies on the schedule, and that includes New Orleans, who's been playing better. And I know the last couple haven't exactly gone their way. I'm going to go 2-2.
You hate the team. It's cool. I get it.
Clearly. And everybody on it. And myself.
And you love Julius Randle.
Where is he? There he is. Still staring at me.
Yep.
No paper plate. Jeremy, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you for engaging in this exercise with me. I'm going to go watch the last 3 minutes of this Boston game. Anything before we get out of here?
I think that's it. You know, I got a text from my girlfriend that I should do more of the Jimmy Stewart voice. So, heck, maybe I'll end it on that one. I don't know, maybe, but I'm hoping for the Blazers. You know, if they're a better team. I love a Blazer. Blazers are great.
Oh, Jesus. I should probably chat. No, we don't have any super chats. Okay, good. We're going to get out of here. I can't top that. On behalf of Jeremy Cohen, thank you, everybody, for checking out another episode of the Knicks Film School Podcast. Help us out in all the ways you help out your favorite shows. I'm seeing a lot of the year-end people posting, whether it's the Spotify thing or the YouTube thing. The best thing you could do if you're a fan of the show, if you've never done it, take the extra, it's like 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you actually write a review. Write a review wherever you get your pods, and give us a 5-star rating. That's how our reach expands. It's how we were able to continue to do what we do. And that's it. Let's get the hell out of here.
Happy New Year, John, and everyone. Since I
Happy New Year. I'll wish you Happy New Year
thank you, buddy.
before it's actual New Year, or when it's actual New Year. But everybody else, oh wait, no, I'm going to see them before. I'm going to see them twice before it's New Year. So no, yeah. I take back my Happy New Year. It's Happy New Year from Jeremy only. There you go.
All right, I'll take that one. Yeah,
that's good. Okay, we'll see you later, everybody. Peace.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.